welcome to the Thursday edition of Two Bald Guys on the Right. Well, let me do that over again. Hold up, Will. Two bald guys
There you go.
on the right. So it's kind of like doing the YMCA. Thought I'd just throw
Except
that
when you
in
do
there.
that, I think it goes to the left on the camera because it's reversed.
Oh, hell. I've been accused of being a liberal in the last 3 weeks because, I spoke up a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, go ahead and do another YouTube video about me, and that would be awesome. But it is two.
Yeah, if you could give us some more publicity, that'd be fantastic.
Bald guys on the. That's actually the left, but if it comes out, it's definitely not the left.
It comes out. It comes out to the right when you're watching it. Now that's my right when I'm watching it. So
all right. Do you think if you're president of the United States, you would be smart enough to know the difference between Mexico and New Mexico?
You would hope so. I mean, you would hope that if you're the president of that you would know the name of all the states. And if you can't get the states right, I mean, if I said Delaware won't instead of Delaware, I think that he might be a little offended.
So, according to Joe Biden, we're now part of Mexico. Not that he said it not once, but said it twice, but he is the king of gaffes. I mean, no doubt about that. We have never had a president that says some of the dumbest crap like Joe Biden. Roll the tape, Will.
How are you? I know Minnesota's great, but it can't be as nice a weather as there is in Mexico now, is there? Sure. We got 6 governors with us today, Democrats and Republicans, and they're meeting the moment. Governor Mills of Maine, Governor DeWine of Ohio, Governor Cox of Utah, Governor Walz of Minnesota, Governor Baker of Massachusetts, and Governor Lujan Grisham of Mexico. And it's great to connect with you all.
And nobody has the cojones to say it's New Mexico, Mr. President. Nobody has the cojones.
I mean...
And I tell you what, this state has been trashed. On CNN during an interview last week, they introduced Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, and they said the governor of New York. And she's like, no. I'm the other groper, okay? I'm the other groper. Yeah. I'm not Cuomo.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm the other one who's in trouble for sexual harassment. She's the short female version of Cuomo.
I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that I'm not a petter. I am a groper. Okay.
Yeah.
Get that right, please. Do you know I just paid $62,000 out of my campaign funds to pay off one of the guys that I groped? Please get this right. I am not in the women, but if I was, it would be okay.
Well, no wonder Biden didn't appoint her to the position she wanted because he thought she was from Mexico.
Oh, well, it could have been. Yeah, she was from the city of Tijuana. It's Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. I think that's where is she from Tijuana? I think she is.
Mexico. Wow.
Yeah.
The Democrats go, he just left off the new. Big deal.
Yeah. New
it's a big
Mexico.
Deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than
if he said
Mexico.
York. If he said York instead of New York, you guys would
think they would in
out.
England. Yeah, they would be like,
yeah.
Are you talking about England? York? The city in England? No. Is he talking about New York? I think he is. Anyway, we had the opportunity this week to talk about the governor's race, and we're going to go into we're going to go into great detail. Who's in? Who might be in? Who's doing like they're doing right now? They're studying if they're going to be in, if they're not going to be in, and we had the pleasure of talking to Steve Pearce. And first thing I asked him, I said, look, we are never going to get a far-right Republican. I wish we would, but we're never going to get a far-right Republican to win the governor's race in this state. We will not get a far-right Republican.
We can get one to run, but we're never going to get one elected with all the Democrats up north.
So I asked the question, what's more important, far-right or winning? And once you get in there, you can put some of the right platform in, but you gotta play the part. You gotta play the part, and you're never gonna get Democrats to cross over for a far right. But if it's a moderate candidate, I think you would get some Democrats that are pissed off at our governor that might cross over. So
Yeah.
I asked Steve Pearce about that and said, how do we win? And here's what he had to say. This was Tuesday on Being the Breakfast Club.
But I think the main thing that we've got to do is be more present as Republicans in our local communities, be a part of the solutions that we see for the country. In many places, they've never talked to a Republican. They've never seen a Republican. These are 80 and 90% Democrat neighborhoods and counties. And so I think our biggest job is to get out and be a part of solutions. So that's the reason we're doing our event in Amarillo. We're calling it Operation Freedom /Positive Change for New Mexico.
And so we were following on our text line, and there was a lot of hate for Steve Pearce. And this is the first time I've ever witnessed this in Southeast New Mexico. So I out and out asked, are you running for governor of the state of New Mexico again? And here's what he had to say. It's an answer, not answer at the same. Answer, non-answer.
Isn't that what they do in politics?
I think it is. Answer, non-answer. Here's what Steve had to say.
Well, what I'm doing right now is trying to build this party. We had a tremendous building phase in the last 2 years, and we're trying to keep that going without some sort of a structure in the Republican Party that knocks doors, starts registering more voters, which we did a great job in last year. Mm-hmm. If we don't have that, then no candidate's going to be very successful. I'm still sitting on the sidelines trying to figure out if it's more important to stay in the party and do the building operation. Right now, that's my tendency, and we're totally focused on that. We'll make a decision down the road, but right now, we just have to pull this party together.
And in fairness to the other candidates that I'll speak of in a second, Steve Pearce has never run a statewide race. And in the governor's race, lost by about 13 points. And
never run and won one is what you're saying.
Well, never won a statewide race. He has run for Senate and for governor and came up short on both of those. So, my personally, I'm a big fan of Steve Pearce. I'm a big fan. I think he would do a better job organizing the Republican Party than running for governor. And I think we need some new blood. Me personally, and I never direct people where they will vote, so I'm going to go over the candidates and the pros and cons coming up. I think he's a great organizer. I think he is good at what he's doing right now, but another race for the governor, I don't think that would be prudent. So who's running here?
I love Steve's politics.
I do.
Love Steve's politics all day long, but unfortunately, I think that he's got the and unfortunately, this is against him, like we are. He's older and white,
right?
And that's rich. In this state, yeah. Well, and he's got money too, so that's one thing I don't have. But those things are against him up north because they're going to turn that around against him, and MLG is going to fight back, and that's who we have to beat.
Yeah, and so what is more important, being forward to the right, or being? Look, we had people saying that Steve Pearce is a rhino. He's not a rhino.
No way.
Steve Pearce is not a rhino. I've followed Steve Pearce since I moved to New Mexico 14, 15 years ago. Steve Pearce is not a rhino. He is a conservative, no doubt about that.
And Steve can work across the aisle. He did work across the aisle when he was in Washington in Congress. However, we're talking about not just working across the aisle. I mean, getting elected in a highly red area of the state is one thing. Getting elected in the state when it's predominantly blue is another.
And we'll talk about that with the other candidates, and we'll get into that. But who is running? Here's what Steve Pearce had to say about that.
I've had at least 10 people talk to me personally about running for governor, so we're going to have a full field. We'll try to narrow that down before we actually go to convention so that you can have too many choices, and the people who just can't get up to lap speed, they can't raise the money, they don't have the networks, they don't have that organization. We'll talk to them about running for a lower office and setting a longer-term goal. I think that's one of the roles that the party should fill. But we feel excited about this coming election all through this year and next year.
So we know that you're going to need $4 to $6 million to compete with Michelle Lujan Gresham. She's probably got that much in a war chest right now. And,
sure she does.
that's before she gets out and fundraises for the 2022 election. Steve Pearce goes on to talk about the Republican convention and why they moved it to Texas. Here's what he had to say.
When we gave certainty that we were going to be on a venue when the police wouldn't show up, and they did show up, the state police showed up for Kevin McCarthy's event here in southeast New Mexico. When we established that we're going to be in Texas, no threat of the police showing up, we were able to snag two of the highest profile speakers in the entire nation for the Republican Party. Governor Kristi Noem and Congressman Jim Jordan served with both of them. Both are friends of mine, and so we're looking forward to a great event in Amarillo this weekend.
So who else is running for the governorship of New Mexico? So let's go over the people who have not declared and the people that have had declared. And first would be Karen Bedoni. And she is declared, and she is running. Of course, she is from the northern end of the state, Farmington, that area. And she ran for Congress and came out third in the Republican side and lost to Alexis Martinez Johnson. Johnson had 36% of the vote, and Karen had 27% of the vote. I never tell people, just like I said about Steve Pearce, I never tell people who to vote for. I'll give you my personal opinion. I think Steve Pearce should not run because, I think he's better suited to run the Republican Party. Karen on the other side, me and Will had our problems with Karen after we gave her free airtime. Me personally, I don't think we need that temperament after they did a hit piece on me personally. Me personally, they did a hit piece, and I hate to tell them, you're not running against me. I'll give you the list of people that you're running against, but ultimately you're running against Michelle Lujan Gresham. So take the time out of your day to do a hit piece on me and say that I'm abusing the youth and that what was the other one, Will?
You broke the Navajo laws.
I broke Navajo laws. To take the time to produce a video about me personally, I don't think that's the temperament that we need in Santa Fe. That's just me personally. And has no experience in politics.
I like a lot of the things that Karen has to say.
Me too.
I like a lot of things.
Me too.
And she's outspoken in the Native American community, and she's actually coming out and talking against some of the problems, legitimate problems with the reservations. However, I agree that doing what she did and coming out and making the YouTube video and endorsing that and having her family come in and be a part of that. It was pretty nasty for someone who, and there again, yes, her name got mispronounced.
Gave her
free advertising. But we had her on not only this podcast, featured her on this podcast, but had her on the morning show and had a great interview where she pronounced her name properly on the morning show, and we mispronounced it when we redid it on the podcast.
It was all positive stuff that we talked about. The only thing that happened, I take 100% responsibility, mispronounced her name. And for that, I get blasted on Facebook, and then they do this YouTube video. So I don't think that's the temperament that we need. We don't need another pissy governor. Me personally saying this, that's not Will saying that. That's me personally saying that. So that's just me saying that. And if you can't win the northern end of the state and you come in third in the third congressional race, me personally, and fundraising. She's going to have to fundraise about $4 million. I don't know if that's in her skill set. That's just me saying that, by the way.
Well, we found out the hard way. She's got a bunch of loyal supporters. So,
yeah, she does have some crazy.
I'll give her that.
Crazy loyal supporters. I'm talking about.
Well, to be honest, though, to be fair, though, so do we.
Yeah, we do too.
Our listeners and our viewers went back at her people about as hard as hers came at us.
Yeah, but some really, as in my wife's language, some Ulo supporters. You could figure that one out. Next on the list would be Sandoval County Commissioner J.C. Block. And I like a lot of the things that Jay had to say. He is retired military, and I really like a lot of the things that he has to say. I think he has I think he has the temperament to be able to be very aggressive to get his policies across. I don't know if he enough about him to know if he will be able to walk across the aisle, because it doesn't matter who's the governor in this state. It's probably going to be run by Democrats and the House and Senate. So I don't know enough about him. I'm still doing into my research, but I love a lot of things he had to say, and I do love a lot of things that he had to say about Second Amendment and that type of stuff.
Look, all of these candidates are Republicans, and I have a lot of respect for a lot of them.
Me
and
too.
I'm like you. I have a lot of respect for what Jay is putting out there and the platforms he's standing behind. However, I think again, going back to what we were talking about with Pearce, I'm not sure that a white male is going to be someone who's going to be able to win over voters in a highly Hispanic and Native American population.
I agree with you. And here's the deal. If Steve Pearce gets in the ring, a lot of fundraising is going to go to Steve. It just is. So it's going to be a battle for the other guys to fundraise. Next on the list is Rebecca Dow, and Rebecca is representative she's from Grants, Hidalgo, and Sierra County. She's from Truth to Consequence, and she was just elected in 2017 to be a representative. She hasn't thrown her name in the ring, but that name has been tossed around a whole bunch. You know anything about her, Will? I mean, we're friends on Facebook. That's about the extent that I know. I follow her.
I know she's a Republican. I know she's a representative, but other than that, I don't know. I've heard some good things about her, but I've never had the pleasure of meeting her.
Me too. Next on the list would be John Sanchez. John Sanchez, of course, was House of Representatives, defeated a 30-year incumbent, and then became lieutenant governor and served under Susana Martinez for 8 years. Couple things about John Sanchez. From the northern end of the state, has a Hispanic name, and also has great name recognition. So he's got a couple things going for him, and he hasn't officially, even though they have a committee that's looking into the matter right now, and we'll see if John Sanchez, who I think also would probably be ahead in fundraising.
Let's not underestimate, the experience factor either. I mean, he's obviously got experience as a politician. Some of the other candidates, not as much. So
and
he definitely, and not only that, but a business owner, experience running the state. I mean, as a lieutenant governor, as a representative, he's been in it. So I think he's got a lot of the key, things there again, not necessarily saying that I'm 100% behind everything he's ever been for. However, as far as we're talking about someone we can actually get elected to beat Michelle Lujan Grisham, I think he's a good candidate.
I do too. And the other thing is, we got to look back at Susana Martinez. Was she a far right Republican? No, she wasn't. I think what helped her, number one, was that she was a little bit towards the middle, but did good things for the state. We got to remember she left us with $2.3 billion. And
look, I miss Susana Martinez like you wouldn't believe, especially after this time with MLG. However, there were plenty of times when I didn't agree with her. There were plenty of times with some of the policy that she put out there I was upset with. But there were just as many that I wholeheartedly agreed with her. And her stance on oil and gas and her leaving us in the position she did was fantastic, only to have Michelle Lujan Grisham blow through it before we ever had a chance to even discuss COVID. And then COVID came, and that just compounded things that much worse. We were already broke before COVID ever hit.
And by the way, we're going to talk about blowing through the money. More state employees get raises, so we'll talk about that coming up in a second. And the last candidate I'm hearing a lot about is Mark Ronchetti. The problem with this is Mark Ronchetti just went back to work as a meteorologist for the TV station. Will he leave that job where he's making, I think it's $225,000 a year? Will he leave that job?
Will he leave it again?
Yeah. Will they open that door?
Because he's already left it once
back?
to run for Senate against Ben Ray Lujan.
And I will say this, when it comes to a statewide race, he has come very close. The Ben Ray Lujan name is a brand in New Mexico. especially in the northern end of the state. And
Yep.
he didn't lose by that much. It was 51 to 45%. So I'm thinking that Mark Ronchetti is right up there in the tops of the picks. The other thing is,
Here's the thing.
Is he a far right guy? No, he's not. More towards the middle.
Well, so he's got the white male thing against him. However, he's got the name recognition, and he's got, you know, some policies that aren't quite, and people in the North know who he is from being on TV. So
Yep.
I mean, there's benefits there that outweigh some of the white maleness. Don't get me wrong, that's coming from a white male. So
Yeah, but
I'm not
we
hating.
know we are a minority state. We have to get the native vote. We got to get the Hispanic votes. Most important for a Republican, we got to get the independent vote and Democrats to cross over and vote for. And he is a name, Mark Ronchetti is a name that maybe some Democrats will vote for.
look, if we can get a peacock with purple polka dots to run and beat Michelle Lujan Grisham, I'll be thrilled as long as they're
good.
Republican.
I'm good with that. But the most important thing is winning. Winning is the most important thing. And, you know, sometimes we pick a candidate. Look, I'm a far-right conservative, but I think I'm smart enough to know that we're not going to get a far-right conservative elected in this state. It's just not going to happen. So we better think. But, let's talk about Michelle Lujan Grisham. Last week, we talked about she gave one employee a $32,000 raise. I think his name was Justin Garut, and gave him a $32,000 a year raise. Who throws around money like that? Oh, people that it's not their money? Oh, okay. Well, she recently also gave the Energy Secretary, James Kenney, an 8% raise, $12,480, bringing his total up. He was at 156. Now he's at 168. And earlier this year, she gave a lot of people on, and this is crony politics. If you're a state worker, this should piss you off, because last year they gave you a 1% raise. This year it's supposed to be a 4% raise. How much of that is going to go to the high price of insurance? In the meantime, her campaign or communications director got an $18,600 raise. Her director of board and commissions got a $12,000 raise. Chief of staff got a $10,800 raise. Chief of staff Matt Garcia got a $10,600 raise. Cabinet director got a $10,600 raise. Policy advisor got a $10,000 raise. Director of Cabinet Affairs got a $10,000 raise.
Are you guys pissed off yet?
Yeah,
I'm just wondering.
Old Victor Reyes, who is the Director of Legislative Affairs, got a $7,500 raise. In the meantime, we have an 8.3% unemployment rate, and Michelle Lujan Grisham is spending your money as fast as she can get it, and state workers are getting the shaft because they're going to get a 4% raise, and these clowns are getting 12, 32% raises. It's just sickening. This is what you get.
Well, no. State workers are lucky at the high end if they got a 4% raise. Some of them are going to get a 1% raise. Some of them are going to get no raise. Hell, half of them have been late. There's been people that have been laid off because of all this pandemic crap.
This is nothing but crony politics at its best. And you know what? Michelle Lujan Grisham learned from the best of the best. She really did. She learned from that guy, Bill Richardson. She learned from the best. Yeah, she learned from the best. You remember this deal, right? When Bill Richardson was governor, and then she worked for Bill, but then she got this big consulting contract from the state. Don't tell me that ain't no bad deal.
Are you saying the Democrats that they give each other, reach around or help each other, give them some good?
It's another way of groping. It's another way.
Yeah.
Let me
help you with this $2 million state contract.
Yeah, here you go. We're going to prop you up. Number one, you sucked at your job working in the health department. Now we're going to, you've left that. We're going to prop you up, though, because you probably know something about me. You probably witnessed something going on in our office. I never forget the time that I went to Bill Richardson's office and I saw so many beautiful young women. And I was like, damn, this looks like the Playboy Mansion up in here. Damn. Unbelievable. All right, we know that science, we've been hearing about the coronavirus science for a long time, especially from this state. New Mexico has been big. Wear your face mask, social distance. Kids can't go back to school. The churches are closed. Stand your butt outside in the rain and snow because you can't go inside the grocery store. We're only allowing so many. And then the CDC today comes out with some new rules that if you're fully vaccinated, no need to wear a mask inside or outdoors.
Wow. Amazing stuff that a lot of us knew from day one, and that now they're just now getting, but hold on.
Wait,
just
New
because
Mexico,
the science and the CDC says so, that doesn't mean.
No. So Thursday this happened. Today this happened. Center for Disease Control. If you're fully vaccinated, no need to wear a mask inside or outdoors. And but you know what? Health order today, they said it remains a core purpose of the order to emphasize that all New Mexicans should stay in their homes and wear a mask. When New Mexicans are not in their homes, they must strictly adhere to the social distancing protocols, even though the federal government came back and said it's 3 foot, not 6 foot, and you must wear a mask to minimize. So is the mask mandate in New Mexico going away anytime soon? KLB, spokesperson for the governor said, KLB asked the question, and they said, the New Mexico mask mandate remains in place for the protection of the health and safety of New Mexicans. Any new data or recommendations will be reviewed and evaluated by the state and will keep you informed on any updates. The governor's state police are still harassing people, and that we'll get to that story coming up next. So
we only follow the science when the science is convenient to our agenda. That's the only time we follow the science in this state.
I have not wore a mask one time in the last 3 months. And I put it on my chin, and the business was okay with that. But the governor, I'm fully vaccinated. Why the hell would I wear a mask? Hey, let's think about this, Will. So if you get the polio, vaccine, isn't that to protect yourself? And if you protect yourself, you can't give it to somebody else, right?
Not supposed to.
Oh. So wouldn't it be the same with this? Oh.
Look, they're going to continue to push forward their bunk science or their pseudoscience to keep Americans, to keep New Mexicans in control so that they can continue to push their agenda.
The thumb on you. That's exactly what this is all about, control. Saturday, I love the people that went out to Albuquerque. Of all places, Albuquerque is fighting back. The Backstreet Grill, Albuquerque and Albuquerque's Old Town. They said enough, because the owner would not make its employees wear a mask outside. It's outside. It is outside. And so, boy, I tell you what, Saturday, a lot of people showed up, and the environmental secretary showed up over there. And, James Kinney, that's the guy that we just talked about that got a good old raise. Anyway, he showed up with the state police, and guess what?
They backed down.
Yeah, they back down. There you go. So all you got to do is fight these clowns, and they will back down.
Congratulations to the Backstreet Grill. That's fantastic. I love, and man, I can't say enough about the people who went out and supported them and who made the trip to Albuquerque and went out and have
awesome.
since, gone there. If you're going through, definitely, show support to this restaurant. Show support to all your local restaurants, because they, more than most have been hit really hard.
Yeah. Now, this restaurant lost their license, if I understand right, but they continued to operate, and state police showed up. Like I said, environmental secretary showed up on a Saturday, and these people were not having it. There are thousands of people there. They had overrun lots of people we're there. It's kind of crazy. All right, looks like the unemployment rate is been kind of crazy. We're at 8.3%, but I see help wanted signs everywhere, and that's the problem. People are collecting the unemployment rate, and so they just reinstated the job search. I think it goes into effect this week. So if you're on unemployment, the job search, I know a lot of states have done away. They have done away with the complete extra money that's coming from the feds because people aren't going back to work. State of Bernie Sanders came out today and said, we still need this. We still need the extra money going to these states. And basically, he said he doesn't care what the states had to say. Yeah, Bernie, I kind of care what the states have to say, because it is their department. And if they don't want your money, you should take your money back and, save your money. So people are going to have to do a job search. It's not that big of a deal. So if you want your unemployment benefits, you're going to have to do a job search. Sorry about that.
It's about damn time. That's all I got to say.
I mean, because we can't get people to get off their tail to go to work. So I
hear countless stories and see them everywhere about more and more people just not, they just completely want to stay at home, have no interest in going back to work. And as long as there was no job search required, why would they?
Why would they? And to do the job search is not a big deal. You go on the website and you go on Indeed and you see 3 jobs in your area and you post those in the little thing, and that's your job search. You search for a job. It's not like you would have applied for the job.
No, see, I was different. If I go and apply for 3 jobs, by God, I'm going to get 3 jobs. So especially now with everybody hiring, I just go out and get off your butt and go get some work. There's always been people that end around the system, but unemployment benefits only last so long, except the federal government keeps propping us up and extending things.
We gave money to people that didn't even work. We had people that said, no, I was self-employed. I was picking up cans on the highway, and we gave them money. Gave the true story. We gave them money. And I'm like, did they pay taxes on that money? Because picking up cans, if they made them, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an a-hole. I've been called that a couple of times. Well, your hometown,
Ruidoso, yeah,
is grappling with zoning recreational marijuana. So by law, you cannot, it's in the bill, you cannot say that somebody can't open up a marijuana dispensary in your town. Now, Ruidoso already has multiple medical marijuana dispensaries in town.
Yes, they do.
One of them is off the beaten path. I think they have 3. 2 of them are on the main drag. And so during a commission meeting, the village learned that they cannot block recreational marijuana businesses from opening up, but they're looking to see if they can restrict them by zoning them to a certain area. Now, the mayor, our buddy Len Crawford, said that I have a feeling it will work its way out. And he said, we don't want a bunch of stone zombies walking through the streets in Ruidoso. Now, Adriana Romero, who helped pin this bill, said that she is hoping that, they do the right thing. Hopefully everybody has a chance to, they don't artificially keep people from opening up businesses.
All they're going to do is if they zone them to a specific area, they're going to make that area become more popular.
You already have 3 medical marijuana dispensaries. And some people say, what's the difference between medical marijuana and recreational marijuana? There's no difference. THC
people who want to smoke pot are smoking pot. This is just going to make it easier for some of them to get their hands on and not have to worry about getting in trouble with the cops. It's not for those of us who don't smoke, we're not going to start. And for those of us who do, they're not going to smoke more. They're just going to continue to do what they've been doing.
This might be a revenue source because you got a lot of people from Texas that are going to Rio Doso. I'm just thinking out loud. Now,
use it as a tourist. Use it as a tourist attraction. I mean, look at what Colorado got. Colorado got an influx. There's people from Texas now going to Colorado because of that.
Yeah.
So now we can take some of that away from Colorado. I'm all for that.
Now, I think in the legislation they can't smoke in public, so I don't think you're going to have zombies walking. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what the bill says about where you can smoke and where you can't smoke. I know one part of the bill, they wanted to establish smoke zones that people would and open up smoke bars. So smokers lounge. I don't know. But yeah, I think you can't discriminate against businesses. Can you zone them? I guess you could. But wait for the lawsuits because people are going to be going, well, you allow alcohol. What's the difference between one intoxicant and the other intoxicant? I don't know. I don't know. But this is when it gets interesting. This is when it gets real interesting. Congratulations going out to Largeburg. You got a visit from the FBI. Former Largeburg police chief and detective under investigation for falsifying timesheets. According to the federal search warrant, there's evidence that the former chief, Arthur De La Garza, and his brother, Elijah De La Garza, a former detective, were falsifying their timesheets. Documents said the brother claims that he worked hours dating back to 2018, and actually he was working for the Federal Border Security Program. Looks like somebody might have to pay that money back.
I'm all about holding these people accountable. I'm all about holding people accountable who are breaking the law or who are getting money they shouldn't be getting. But is it necessary to get the FBI?
I tell you what, boy, the FBI went in there in full force. It was like they were breaking down Rudy Giuliani's door.
Let me see your timesheets.
Yeah, I'm looking for your timesheets. It breaks my heart to read this next story because, kids have worked their tails off to get through college, especially in an era of the coronavirus. And New Mexico State is going to allow a limited amount of guests at the commencement ceremonies. Now, you will be able to view that online, but every graduate is only going to get 2 invitations. That is it. 2. Here's a better idea. Hold the thing outdoors where it's in the fresh air and let multiple people come in. So they will be streaming in the ceremonies, but at the same time, grandma and grandpa can't be there.
This is a once in a lifetime thing for these kids.
So they get two people. They get 2 guests. That's pretty much it. So there you go. Can't we just move it outside?
Pretty silly.
I mean, wouldn't that be great? It's outside. You're breathing fresh air. Oh, the fresh air. Where the CDC said you're cool. So I don't know. Well, I think we're coming to the time where people are going to be having to get tattoos on their head that said vaccinated. You'll have a non-vaccinated, and they're going to divide us up according to vaccinated and non-vaccinated. Wait for it to happen. It's coming soon. Or maybe it will be like a chip, or maybe it'll be like a barcode, and they'll just like.
They were talking about we have a QR code, tattooed on us somewhere, or I saw people with the meme with the cow tag on people's ears saying vaccinated.
It's probably coming.
Well, good deal.
It's probably coming. Thank everybody for tuning in for the New Mexico version of Two Bald Guys on the Right. Hey, tell your friends to subscribe to the channel if you would. Tell your family and friends. Hey, you got 2 crazy guys that are talking about what's going on the right. And the right is always right. And so please, no more videos, no more YouTube videos. But thank you for all the publicity that we got last week. Appreciate that so much. Well, you have a good night. Tomorrow is Friday.
Yeah, you too.
God bless.
We're ready. So, and don't forget to we'll be back on Monday. But if you get a chance and you're can't watch the video on YouTube, Then don't forget we're streaming everywhere you can hear a podcast. Podbean, iTunes, Spotify. Just do a search for Two Bald Guys on the Right, and we will talk to you again on Monday.
God bless you.